Roblox, a lot of controversy about this game, a lot of weird predators on it. And yes, that is predators. A lot of predators on the game. Very, like, look, you let your kids play Roblox, you're probably doing it wrong. They're probably exposed to some bullshit over there. And one country who I've been told to hate my entire life is doing something about that. And that country is Russia, as Russia has blocked Roblox over, quote, child harassment. Here, they have blocked it. Russia has blocked the U.S.-owned online gaming platform Roblox, accusing it of distributing extremist materials and promoting, quote, LGBT propaganda. State media reported Wednesday. The platform, which allows users to build their own games and share them with others, was Russia's most downloaded mobile game in 2023, according to Russia's Vedomosti newspaper. In a statement published by Russian news agencies, Russian media regulator, said Roblox had become rife with, quote, inappropriate content that can negatively impact the spiritual and moral development of children. Children in the game are subjected to sexual harassment. Intimate photos are tricked out of them, and they are coerced into committing depraved acts of violence right here. Now, I'm actually very intrigued in this conversation because just yesterday we had the story about Australia removing social media for everybody under 16. And we had that conversation. So this is, I think, actually kind of similar. So I'm going to be very intrigued to see what people have to say about Russia removing Roblox from here. Let's start with Phoenix first. Phoenix, what are your thoughts on Russia banning Roblox over the same reason, child harassment and endangerment?
That's tricky because we've talked about this, about our fear of anything being necessarily banned. We would hope that the company would, course correct. So I don't know how Kay, do you have, like, that's tricky because anytime I hear the word ban, I get nervous. Kay, what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't like banning anything like that personally. I think that it's tough because then I just always go back to the answer that parents should be regulating this, and that, like, you should be able to access whatever, and parents should make sure that their kids aren't touching it. That's kind of my opinion on it. I don't really like governments intervening and saying you can't have this game or this show or whatever, any kind of media. I don't think that they should be interfering with that. So that's kind of my issue. And you were talking about the, like, under 16 thing with social media. How are they gauging that? Are they taking ID for that? I don't like the idea of taking anonymity of the internet away. Like, I think that the internet was made to be anonymous. So yeah, I just don't like any of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I like the idea more of, like, lawsuits and things like that. Parents or whoever coming together and trying to make change that way or something like that, I guess. The banning gets me nervous.
Flawed? Yeah. Phil?
Everything I was going to say.
Excellent, Flawed. Phil?
Yeah. I would say I agree with Kay, and it's just I feel like it's a slippery slope. Like, whenever a government has a hand in anything, they tend to not relinquish control. I do know this is like it's to help the children and stuff like that, but, like, I have a feeling that it's going to get worse.
They say that.
Well, like, I have a feeling like it's like, okay, we're going to ban these games off of Steam. We're gonna remove these because it's not safe for children and stuff like that. This is the whole, like, collective shout thing happening all over again, right? It's a big Trojan horse, right? For them to control everything, and I feel like it's very, very scary. Is because, like, look at how much, like, censorship that China has way more censorship than Russia. Right? So it's just they police the entire internet with that case, right? So, like, if they can do that, I have a feeling like everything will be censored moving forward, or being controlled moving forward. And I feel like that's a slippery slope. I think ultimately it definitely is up to the parents to make sure that they vet what their kids are playing. And but the thing is, I understand, like, oh, but kids can go to their friend's house and stuff like that, and that's why you got to vet their friends as well. But it's a slippery slope for me.
Well, I think that's I don't think there's a right solution for it. A lot of people, we talked about this yesterday with the parents thing. Like, so many people will they'll go immediately to the parents. and they say, well, yeah, parent's a better parent, right? And I agree with the vast majority of that, right? But there are things that your kids will do that you don't know about. That's the reality of life.
Part of life.
Right. So, and that's part of actually growing up is doing things and honestly fucking up. You know, you don't want to be the parent who doesn't let your kid fail, and then they fail for the first time, and then all of a sudden they don't know how to respond to it. Right. So, this, you know, it's weird because we've been propagandized, right, over really my entire life that Russia bad, right? And I don't even know if that's true or not. I actually would very much enjoy like the idea of going to Russia or going to China or going to these places that we've been told this place is bad, and like seeing it for myself. It's the same idea of you know, we saw Leaflet have the conversation with the trans guy, right? And like, I think that's really admirable. I think that they got together and they had, you know, so they had the conversation and tried to talk it out. I'd like to see things personally, you know. So, you know, you also see these videos out of Russia that they say, oh, I love living in Russia, right? Their people love it, right? But is that propaganda? I don't know, you know. So the idea of any sort of, going back to the original idea of any government saying you should or shouldn't do something like that, I'm with you guys. I think it's not a good idea at all, but I understand why people are accepting of it in this case, and in the case of the Australia situation. I understand it, you know. Government gets to be the bad guy, and government often is the bad guy, but they actually, you know, the parents, they get to point to, well, hey, I didn't do it. Putin did it. You know, Putin said we can't do this. That's why you can't play Roblox anymore. And he takes the fall in a situation like this. So
I would just lie to him and say Putin said it anyway.
Yeah, Putin.
Even if he didn't.
Maybe that's how I will have to have that conversation with my kids. And like my daughter will be like, why can't I play Zelda? I'm like, Donald Trump.
Putin, no, say Putin.
Donald Trump said you
Yeah, for me, I'd be like, oh, it's Xi Jinping. He said no.
You got eyes everywhere.
I don't know if you know, they banned Nintendo. I am sorry. They the iPads are banned, guys. I'm sorry. It's rough. Your mom told me you should hit the subscribe button. You don't want to disappoint mom, do you?